AnimeIndecision.
Greetings, I'm Demonac.
And I'm Orestria, and this is AI Tries Ajin, Episode 2.
That's the second one. We simultaneously learned a bit more this episode, and still almost nothing. Like, we still don't have a good idea of where this show is going and how it's going to play out at all.
Basically, all we've really learned is just that Ajins have more than just not dying as an ability. That's what we've learned.
Yeah, which I think we strongly suspected because there's an anime about them. Like, they're going to do other things, and we'd already seen in the first episode that he could paralyze people. So, if they can do one thing, they can do more things. That's anime.
Pretty much. So this episode starts with Kei and Kai on the run. First issue, Kei just does not change his shirt.
No.
His shirt is all torn up and bloody, like he got run over by a truck or something.
Yeah, possibly.
And
well, I mean, he never got a chance to go home, though. He just ran away, right?
Yeah, but you can't tell me that Kai said, hey, I'm running away with my friend packing a duffel bag, and he didn't put in a single fucking shirt.
It might have been a good idea. These are kids, though. Maybe they don't worry about the changes of clothes. I mean, I don't think the news footage showed how, like, torn up he was, right? I don't know.
No, but it doesn't matter. Like, here's my thing. Say I don't watch the news.
Yep.
I have no idea that there's a new Ajin. And I see a guy on a motorcycle wearing a torn up shirt.
Yeah, but...
And he looks fine.
Did he know his friend's shirt was torn up when he packed? That's all I'm saying.
No, he didn't. But if you're going away for a long time, I would pack a shirt.
How old are these kids, like 11 or 13 or something? Like, I don't know why he has a motorcycle in the first place, but...
A scooter. And he has it because he's a thug.
Yes.
That's why they can't be friends.
Sorry, thug background. Comes with one free motorcycle.
Yes, exactly. Probably has a pipe people, too.
Yeah, so they're driving away. We did get to see the agency, which we didn't learn too much more about them, more than we could have guessed in the, 2 seconds of footage at the end of the last episode. They're a mysterious organization. Yeah. Their job is to catch the Ajin. And we don't know what they're going to do with them or whatever, but they're working with the police right now.
Shock! They think the police are incompetent.
Yes, what a surprise. And, as we also learned in the first episode, the way they deal with Ajin is you tranquilize them, because they're immune to being killed, but they're not immune to all kinds of other stuff.
I guess it makes sense if, the death spirit thing or whatever gets summoned in the moment you're dying, like the way we saw in this episode where he was being choked.
Yep.
I guess it would make sense that it wouldn't summon for something non-life-threatening, right? It's not like if he got a cut or a broken leg in infanthood that they instantly healed.
Yeah. Although we also don't know if he has been an Ajin all his life or if it's something that happened later on. Because remember in the first episode they had that scene with him and his sister and the dead dog. And it was kind of mysterious, but we saw the spirit in the background there. And we don't know, is that when he got it? Or was it always there and it just showed up because he was around death? It's a good question.
Yeah. And because we don't really know anything about the spirit at all, it's hard to come up with good theories. One thing I liked is that the show took a moment to show us that they were thinking about hiding and they were aware of things like cameras. Because when we're at the gas station, Kai is pumping gas and they show us the camera's point of view as Kei is hiding behind a vending machine.
Yep, he is at least trying not to be found.
And yes, you heard me right, their names are Kai and Kei.
Well, I think we can clear that up. We'll just call the Ajin Special K.
Oh, that's so perfect. All right. So then, to add some conflict to this episode, we get some assholes.
Yep, they're generic assholes, like type 5, the kidnapping kind, with a baseball bat. Just generic assholes.
In case they were scared, you would sympathize with, adult men chasing down and terrorizing teenage boys for money. They made sure that you knew these were bad guys.
Yeah.
They kidnapped little girls.
So makes you expect them to die horribly somehow.
Yeah.
But they did have a relatively good stealth skill, or else those kids had the worst spot checks in history.
I think it had to be both. It had to be both. Kei and Kai failed their perception checks.
As that guy's crab walking up to him.
Those thugs are fucking ninjas, because that was redonkulous. There is no way. Like, here's the scooter.
That was a really painful scene.
Here's the big van. Big van came up. It's the night. They would have had their headlights on, or did they not have their headlights on when they were driving?
I'm pretty sure they had their headlights on, the pedo van.
The, like, candy van parks over here. Kai is here. Kay is somewhere here going to the bathroom. I don't know if he was in front or to the side, but I don't think he went behind Kai to go to the bathroom.
It's hard to tell the way the scenery was. I could swear, like, I don't think it was 100% consistent, which is weird for a show that seems to be done in CG, because you'd think that the location of things would be consistent, except when they have to cheat it.
Anyway, so here's Kai, here's Kay, where I guess my claw is, and here's the van, and the guys somehow get over here without this becoming an issue.
Yeah, they snuck right up to him. They had Shadow Step from World of Warcraft. It's fine. They were like approximately level 50 thugs. So they got over there, they did their thug thing, and of course they kill him. What a surprise! If your main character can die and come back, what are they gonna do? They're gonna die almost every episode.
Yeah, this is gonna turn into Kenny right here, right now. There's the third K.
Yeah. KKK right there.
There we go. So it's Kai and Kenny. Perfect.
Yeah.
So, can I say, what I really liked about this scene is there were two teenage high schoolers or middle schoolers or whatever against some real life thugs, and they didn't win the fight.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I did some ridiculous flying kicks to a police officer in the first episode, so I was scared that Kai was just gonna, like, I was scared
there was some concern that Kai was actually like Naruto in disguise.
Yeah, I was worried Kai was just going to walk up and beat them both up and be like, all right, let's get out of here. Oh, hey, there's a girl. Let's rescue the girl. I really thought they were going to rescue the girl.
I was surprised that the girl did not somehow end up joining their team. We still don't know yet if there are two ways this show can be. Either this show likes to spend time on normal people for no major story reason, just to sort of ground the world and get reactions, because they did that with his schoolmates, and they did that, with the girl in the back of the van. And the reporter. Or the other possibility is that they just want to telegraph everything. They want to have all these characters come back again later, and they want to make sure every time like the reporter shows up, you're like, I remember her. They planted that seed in an earlier scene. And Kidnapped Girl is going to somehow end up rejoining them later, and like, so it could go either way. I don't know which one is better necessarily, because I don't want to waste time on a lot of random people. Although if it adds texture, then I can't say it's really a bad thing, but if it's too tidy, if everything you see early on joins back in later, that's usually a little meh.
I'm hoping they're just trying to add character, because I liked those little character moments. I thought we were just going to see the news report and that was going to be the end of that. It was just going to be exposition, right? And instead, like, she's there and she's looking at who's at the scene and she's like, oh, hey, that guy's kind of cute. Is he with the Ajin agency? I don't know.
Yep.
And I like
they have two Ajin in Japan, and they have an agency that is literally called, like, the Ministry of Ajin, or whatever it's called. Like, it has Ajin in the name for two people.
Yeah.
Now it's 3. They're like, we increased our mandate by 50%. We're going to have to hire some more staff.
And I like that they showed one of his schoolmates not being a giant dickhole.
Yeah, it was interesting, especially in this episode. Up until that point, we were starting to worry, both of us separately watching this, we're starting to worry that this is going to be a show where every character was 100% black and white. The greedy bastard little school kids were going to be greedy bastard little school kids. The thugs were going to be just asshole thugs. The agency guys were going to be uptight agency guys. The police were going to be incompetent police. And everyone was just going to be like, because Kai, or Kay, whichever one, the friend, is... so far he's like 100% I am your good friend guy. I'm doing this because I'm your good friend.
Kai is Jesus at this point.
He is. But what we've seen is the schoolmate who wasn't a jerkwad. So that was a sign, okay, it's someone at least is like, I knew that person and now he's being chased and everything is weird. Instead of like, oh man, I wish we could have captured him and returned him in for the money. And then that makes me think that maybe Jesus, there were a couple of things, like he's thinking about what he knows about Ajin, which makes me think there's a possibility that he already knew Special K was an Ajin. and that he
I
knows
almost
he's
thought
got
at
some
first
kind of connection to them.
Yeah, my impression is less that he knew Kenny was one,
It's just a theory.
and
I'm not sure.
and more that he knows one of the other two, or someone who is an Ajin but isn't known to be an Ajin.
It's definitely one. It's definitely one of those things. Like, he clearly has more knowledge and connection to Ajin that's going to come out over time, just based on the little hints they've been dropping.
But like, Jesus here, they haven't really been friends for a while. Like, Kenny's mom basically told Kenny not to talk to him anymore, because then Kenny wouldn't be able to be a good person.
And he wants to be a good person, so he's been avoiding him.
Yeah, like, we even see him totally diss Jesus in the first episode.
Yeah, no, he Judased him hard. He said, like, oh, I'm not with him.
He said, I don't know that guy. Why would I know someone like that? And Jesus' reaction to finding out his friend is in trouble is, well, gotta go pack a bag and run away with him.
My friend is some kind of mutant alien angel or something. I better go help him. Yeah, so we still don't know what the agency is up to. I kind of have a theory just based on general perception of genre and story and stuff like that. They're being shown as kind of like neutral to bad right now. I think that, I don't know what their actual motives are, but I'm pretty sure they're going to capture him and they're going to want to use him later, or in some way they're going to end up being on his side, I think, for a good chunk of the series, just based on my general perceptions of fiction.
I feel like that's very possible. I would rather they make them more like villains, and I would rather them just... Because there's a sense where there's so much you could learn from people that are undying.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They don't know that people are undying because of demon spirit things or whatever that is. I wouldn't even call a government evil for wanting to dissect someone like that and try and research and figure out medical things. It's not very ethical.
Yeah, but especially if dissecting them doesn't kill them.
Yeah, it's understandable.
The one thing that I will say against my theory is that this kid, if they're trying to create like a special forces team of Ajin with special powers to send him on missions, which is what you would expect, because it's an anime, it doesn't make as much sense when it's an innocent, regular kid like this, and especially knowing what we know of him so far, it doesn't feel like it would be right for him to train up and become like a special forces mutant guy.
And if you're trying to make special forces, then it's kind of rough that to get your special forces, you're sitting here shoving their face on the news to make sure you catch them.
Yeah.
Because people will know his face. That's less valuable in like a secret agent.
No.
But the action department people were not telling the police to stop showing all that footage. They weren't trying to get the news reporters out of there.
No, their priorities seem to clearly be just catch this guy. It doesn't matter. We have to have him captured.
Well, and they're referring to him as prey. I can only speak for myself, but when I'm trying to recruit someone to my dastardly secret group, I usually try not to start thinking of them as prey, because it's kind of hard to break that thought pattern.
Yeah. So then I guess we come to like what I think is probably the last thing in the episode, which is just what happens after they've escaped from these guys. Now they're getting chased down. And that was an interesting turn of events.
His power basically scaled up really fast. Because we saw that yell that disabled people.
Yep, we'd seen that before. As far as we know, is something that he just triggers after he has died. And we've only so far seen the spirits come out when he's died.
Yeah, and at first it's just a rah! And it happens both times that he's died.
Yeah.
But then we start to see that it has way more to do with his actual willpower. It can be focused.
That is what it seems like. I mean, when he wanted his friend to be able to come with him, he was like, hey, Jesus, can you move? And he was able to move.
And it really looked like he was frozen, and then can you move? And he tried, and then it worked.
Yeah. It's only the one that he wanted to be able to move that was able to move much faster. So.
Yeah, like the girl who he didn't even know was there was still frozen.
As far as we know, I don't know if we saw her after that.
We never saw her after that.
We just knew that she got out of the van, so she wasn't in the bad guy van anymore, and that was it.
She was standing outside and frozen.
Yep.
And that's the last we saw her. We know she wasn't in the van when they drove away, because they got in and they were like, shit, the girl's gone.
Yep.
But we don't know, like, if she probably just dashed into the forest, but
that's what you would think. Maybe we'll
show
never
it.
see her again, or maybe every character that they ever spend a second on will come up again. We will find out soon enough.
We don't know yet.
As
Yay!
the question is just, is this thing that is part of Kenny now, or seems to be part of Kenny, this spirit, is it a separate thing that is trying to follow his will right now? Or is it like literally, is it like his soul is like that for some reason?
I'm leaning towards it not being his soul, but I don't have any good arguments. It just doesn't feel that way to
Yeah,
me.
no, I would tend to agree with you.
I don't think Kenny in his soul really wanted to kill those guys. When he said, like, those guys should just die, it was just like an offhanded thing. It was just like, assholes like that don't deserve to be alive. It wasn't, I want to kill them.
I bet he genuinely meant it in that second. In that emotional moment, he just got back to life, and he's pissed off and watching his friend get attacked. But it's obviously not something he means.
That was tough.
Yeah, it was a little creepy there. See, before that, I was thinking, does he have the balls to throw himself off the motorcycle into their windshield and cause them to crash that way? They went a very different direction. It's like, no, his soul genie just went out there and said, you die now.
Well, and so, like, that's a change in the power. That's an improvement in the power in two ways in my mind. One, it can do way more directed things than just freezing everyone in an area.
Yep.
It didn't even freeze both of them. It just froze the driver. And it didn't just freeze him, it actually applied the brakes.
Yeah.
Second, this is a huge range increase.
Yeah, it is now able to operate completely separate from him. We don't know if it's unlimited range or whatever, but it doesn't matter. There's a huge difference between many, many car lengths apart while you're driving away and just, like, around you when you get up.
Like, they were not in audible range of him.
No. They did not know that what happened there. I guess, okay, very last question. If this is something, regardless of its nature, we don't know, but whatever it is, it's trying to obey the will of this person it's attached to.
Right.
How long term is it going to be following these requests? Because it was saying that, because I think he said, and it certainly interpreted as he said, that he wants everyone to die. Did he just turn this thing into a genocide monster? Or is that more temporary?
Jeez, I didn't think about that.
That part is a little worrying on his behalf. Not on the show's behalf. The show could be fine either way. But
no,
that is
awesome
a concern.
From the show point of view. Oh my god.
If his objective becomes trying to stop this thing that is part of him that mostly obeys his will, but is just like decided that he wants to kill all people. Wow.
Oh god.
That's something that we probably won't find out next time.
Bye-bye.
If you found that useful or entertaining, or if you enjoy cookies, hit the like button. And check out Tales from My D&D Campaign on youtube.com/Demonac.